Welcome back to 2016. I don't know if you heard, but 2026 is the new 2016, which I am very excited about. That was essentially my era of coming into adulthood. Back in 2016, I was a freshman slash sophomore in college. I was living in a dorm room the entire time. I don't even know what I was doing. It was just a blur. So that was a big time in the beauty community, as I'm sure you are aware. So I thought it would be fun to compare how I do my makeup now versus how I used to do my makeup back when I was 19. I think a lot of the products that I use still exist. Nowadays, I have just found things that work for me better, and I did not want to go out and spend a ton of money on products that I don't really use anymore. I just looked at my collection and I found the closest thing that I could get. Unfortunately, I do have some things that I did have in 2016. I do not use them. If I do have anything from that era, it is essentially only for sentimental purposes. I do not want to put that anywhere near me. I was also starting to actually use makeup. Pretty much everything that I used to use back then was drugstore because I was a poor college student. Right now, I currently have on what is left of my makeup from today. It is currently 8:30. I worked a full day. I came home, I cleaned, I made and I ate dinner. So it's definitely been through some stuff. I also got ready in like 5 minutes because it was cold and I didn't want to get out of bed. So I am going to go and take this off and I will be right back. So this morning I did put my hair up in a messy bun. I was not necessarily planning on filming this today, but it just kind of worked out. For the 2016 side, just imagine that A Wonder is playing, LA Devotee by Panic at the Disco just came out. You and all your friends are sitting on like a crappy broken futon that's being held together by cardboard, watching Vine. And then I'll do this side, which is going to be today, which is hopefully going to end up looking better than the 2016 side, or else I need to reevaluate some life decisions. I do have all the makeup that I'm going to use as my 2016 makeup here. I am going to start off with foundation. As you can see, no primer because I didn't really believe in primer. I still don't really use primers just to capture the full essence. Back then, obviously I couldn't afford like any of the high-end makeup that I was seeing in hauls on YouTube. Oh, and I'm just going in with a beauty blender. This is actually a fresh one because at some point my beauty blender that I was using rolled away into the abyss and I cannot find it. So I just cracked open a new one for this video. So what an experience. I was definitely using a sponge. It was not a beauty blender at the time though. Back then I was using a Real Technique sponge, which is a good substitute. I just, at this point in my life, I feel like nothing can really beat a beauty blender. So I'm just taking a full coverage matte foundation and I'm just gonna list everything down below because I know I'm gonna forget something. And it's kind of weird because it's like I was learning how to do makeup, but I kind of knew some techniques because I was watching so many YouTube channels. So once I had like a nice solid layer of the full coverage matte foundation, I'm gonna go in with a concealer. I just have, again, the full coverage matte concealer. Like I said, I was a poor college student, so I was only using drugstore products unless it was something I got in my Ipsy, because I was deep into an Ipsy subscription in 2016. I started when I was like a senior in high school and then I had it for like 10 years. The thing that I used to do is draw a triangle with my concealer and then just cover any spots. I chose this side because I'm breaking out more on this side. So this is way better suited for 2016 makeup because global events have been stressing me out lately. So that's what you get. And yeah, I would literally draw an entire triangle and then a little bit on the eyelid to prime it, going in with the same beauty blender. I'm trying my best to make sure everything just stays on the side that it's supposed to stay on. Oh god, I'm so scared to blend this out. Remember, like, my dad too would sometimes like walk in on me doing my makeup. I don't even know what he was thinking because I looked like I was about to go into like a football game. I wasn't really good at like blending it down into my neck and like onto my ear, so I'm just gonna leave it there. The next thing I would do if I was doing like makeup, I wanted to look good that day, or I was not going out. I was like the dorkiest 19-year-old, but I'm just gonna bake with the wet beauty blender and dipping that right into some loose powder. But yeah, I think I was I forgot about that. I think it was to the point where like my parents wanted me to almost go out because I remember like I would talk to them on the phone and they'd be like, oh, what are you up to tonight? And I'm like, oh, me and my friends are going to the library. And it would be like a Friday night and my parents would be like, oh yeah, the library. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. I don't go to parties. I would put a lot on. Like there would be visible powder. So I'm gonna go over a few spots. I remember my friends and I, we would occasionally go to parties totally sober just to dance and then get sweet potato fries and go home. So now that this side is setting, I am going to go wash this off and be right back. Okay, you can't really see this, but I have powder everywhere. I am wearing a fully black outfit and I'm sitting cross-legged on the ground. So I have powder like all over my leggings and my tank top right now. So we're just gonna go with that. Wow, there's definitely a reason that I developed a habit of doing my makeup in my pajamas before I get dressed in the morning. But I'm going to start on this side. So the first step that you will notice that is different is I'm going in just with a glowy primer. I just like the look that as your foundation naturally wears off throughout the day, still having that glow underneath. I really dry skin. A, it adds a little bit more moisture, and then B, it gives you the look of moisture even if your skin does not feel that way. This is really hard. I should have like drawn a line or something. But depending on the day, I might use a skin tint. I feel like I'm kind of getting away from that though. This is my favorite liquid foundation right now. I think that if 19-year-old Kendra saw this, she would have like a stroke. So I'm just gonna put a little bit on. And as you can see, this is already a little runnier. The other thing that I forgot to mention is I also got better at color matching and knowing what undertones are. I think I kind of knew that I was cool toned, but I didn't really understand what it meant. I would just find like a pale ass foundation shade that I thought matched my skin. A lot of times looking back at pictures, my face was a little bit yellow. It might be hard to tell because there were so many filters on everything, but yeah. Oh, and I need a mirror and I pulled this out just to show you guys for fun. So get ready for a jump scare. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Like I said, I needed a mirror. This technically came out in 2017, but it was just such an iconic moment in the time. So now that this is blended out, I'm gonna go in with concealer. I'm just gonna cover up any spots, but clearly a lot less than the war paint that was going on this side. And if I'm having a really bad breakout, I'll just let it sit for a little bit. I also used to think that I had to immediately blend out my foundation or my concealer, or else it was gonna settle into every pore and every line that I had on my face, which I guess would make sense. I had dry skin and I was using full coverage matte products, but when you learn your skin type and you use more moisturizing products, you can let things dry down so you get coverage without using a ton of product. And the thing too is like, I don't use as much coverage if there's like a spot or something on my face. It's like I just can't really be bothered anymore. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and spend like 5 hours color correcting and trying to cover up a single zit at this point in my life. So that's another thing that's changed. I have really grown a fond love of liquid and cream contour, and as you can already tell, this has a cool undertone. I honestly just use cool tone contours as my bronzer because a lot of bronzers tend to pull very orange on me. Finding stuff that's like marketed as a contour or meant for contouring looks a lot more flattering on me as a bronzer opposed to things that are actually marketed as bronzers. I like forgot how fun this palette was. This palette got so much hate. I liked it. I was like pretentious and I was like, people are just bad at makeup and don't know how to use the palette. Now I'm not so sure, but that was 2017. Maybe next year we can do 2017 and I can like actually use this. I also now use pretty much exclusively cream or liquid blushes. I don't know why I just could not think of that. Usually it's gonna be more of like a mauve, cool tone pink, even this one that's kind of a purple. I tend to use this one pretty much every day when I'm getting ready. This is my go-to. I usually do 3 dots because I like a lot of blush. That is definitely one 2020s habit that I will probably always use, and I take that and I blend it like up into my temple area and to my nose. Like I really put that everywhere. For this side, I'm gonna just follow that up with like a pink powder, and honestly I can use like a pink or a lavender powder pretty much all over my face. It tends to still look pretty natural on it. Instead of baking, I want to just like press the powder in. That's a technique that came from drag queens, so it does work really well if you need your makeup to stay on. I'm just like not really doing it as I'm getting ready for work in the morning. Now that this side has been baking for forever, you can literally see the powder still just floating around. You're not seeing floaters, that is the powder. I would just grab a fluffy brush, and the way that the beauty YouTubers taught me was to literally just twirl your brush in a circle and just kind of buff it away. So as you can see from this palette, I do go in with a lighter shade. I'm gonna pick the darker shade because that's definitely what I would have picked in 2016. And then I have an e.l.f. brush, which was probably something I bought back then. You know what I actually used to do is I used to draw like a straight line and then like try and go in and buff it out, the hollow points of my cheeks, which as you can see on this side, I kind of did it just above, so it made my cheekbones a little bit more carved out. I think I would do the 3. I would do it like all on the sides of my face too. I remember I had like cream blushes I would sometimes use, but most of the time I was going in with just like a powder blush. As we discussed before, I was not using Charlotte Tilbury, but I was using a shade very similar to this. Again, I didn't really understand undertones. I like this shade, but it is a little peachy for me. This is a relic. I think I have had this brush since high school. Real Techniques. So I am trying to use as many things that I had back in the day that I do now. Just going in with the pink shade. Oh, I forgot how pigmented this was. That was a mistake. Back in 2016, a lot of people weren't even using blush. They were just doing bronzer and then just going on with their day. I did that some days, but, and this is where I kind of started learning. Sorry, someone's fire alarm is going off in my building. I'm just trying to make sure I don't die. Can you imagine if the fire alarm went off in the middle of this and I had like one side that was actually like flattering makeup and then the other side was just, I don't really know my neighbors that well. That would be really great. Makeup 2 different ways on either side of the face is fine. As I was saying, a lot of YouTubers would just use bronzer, and that's what a lot of people said to do. But I started realizing that I felt like I needed blush, and that blush did look good on me. So it wasn't my shade, but I would still use blush. So I would do apples of the cheeks and then just move it back a little bit. Now I put my blush under my eye, and then here it's just, nope, because I can't disrupt the triangle. So I was trying to look awake because I was running on 3 to 4 hours of sleep every single night. And now for the fun part, which is the highlighter. So this is something, and I think this will be okay to use because after this, it's 9 o'clock at night and I gotta go to work in the morning. So after this, I'm just gonna go shower, wash it off. It's fine. I'm already breaking out on this side. You can't hurt me anymore. With my Ipsy addiction, one thing that I got was this OFRA highlighter. I've had this for forever. It's supposed to be a little, God, I'm scared to take this out. It's just supposed to be a little pan that you take out and you pop into a Z palette. I think I asked for a Z palette like every year for Christmas and my birthday, but I don't think anyone in my family knew what I was talking about. So it's just lived in its little plastic case for its whole life. And you can only tell it's, wow, that's a little dark for my skin tone, and you would be correct. I would just find a golden highlighter and just go straight in. And you wanted it to be blinding. Maybe not like ridiculously blinding. There was a point where it was too much, but you could go up to that point and it was fine. And I would take it and I would do like a little C shade because you also gotta highlight the brow bone. Move it all around. Oh, from the side, oh, that doesn't look too bad. Like that looks good. From the front though, you can totally see that this is too dark for me. This looks okay. Actually, it doesn't look okay. This is how I was showing up to class at 8 a.m. Also, I usually had 8 a.m.s and I had roommates that slept late. So I was typically doing my makeup in the dark with just like the LED light from my vanity mirror that was like a foot tall. If you knew me at 19 and my makeup looked bad, it was not my fault. I was literally getting ready blind. But then on this side, right now I'm very pale because it's winter. In the summer, I will go in with maybe a bronzer that's slightly darker than my skin tone. I just need to show you the difference in these two, which it's not really showing up on camera, like the shade difference, but you can definitely see a difference in the undertone. Oh, okay, you can tell. I don't know how color theory works. I was not an art major. I just watched a lot of YouTube videos. Those are 2 different shades. This is actually, I'm embarrassed I did this. Oh my, I was going to a frat party basement sober, looking like this. What a good time. What a time. So just to lock down the liquid blush underneath, I go in with a powder blush. I just kind of follow where I put it and just pat it, set it down. Little extra blush insurance. This palette is my new holy grail. They have reformulated it. I'm scared. What I do every single day is I get the pink and I go in specifically with this double-sided brush and I just go over the same area with the blush. So I have a little blush topper moment, and then I take these two, and depending on if I'm more tan or I'm more pale, I'll kind of put my brush a little bit more in one. This is my nose highlight, which I did not nose highlight back then because I didn't really want my T-zone to be shiny. I wanted my cheekbones and my brow bone to be shiny. Now I'll put it on my chin, put it on my forehead. Now I would like to look shiny. Sometimes people will tell me that I look shiny and I'm like, thank you. And they're like, no, like it looks not good. And I'm like, thank you. Now onto the eyeshadow, which is the fun part. I did find this palette, which is probably something very similar to something that I would have gotten back then and used, especially with like all these peachy brown shades that I used to do. You were supposed to use MAC Fix Plus, but like I said before, I was a poor college student. I couldn't afford MAC makeup. Like I was going to Walmart and buying $1 loaf of bread and a jar of peanut butter so I could eat that week. Like I wasn't buying MAC. What I would do is I would grab my water bottle. I think I literally would just dump some water on the back of my, this is not good. Don't do this. But yeah, I would take it and I would find like a flat brush. I would go in with a shimmer. I'm gonna go with this one because I loved a coppery color. And then with my wet brush, I would go in and just stamp that on. This makes the metallics show up even more like metallic-y. You wanted your metallics to look like a liquid. I would just pack it on with my watery brush and then just kind of pray that it didn't ruin my eyeshadows. Grab the fluffiest brush that I had and then just go in with a crease color, which was literally any matte mid-tone brown. And then I would take that and I would just go back and forth forever, windshield wiper motions, and then I would, you know, circle it around, really get in there, because it was like fucking crime to have unblended eyeshadow. Like, God forbid I would show up to my 8 a.m. and my eyeshadow wouldn't be blended. Then I would grab a small little brush and then I would just go in with the darkest brown. And actually, even though this palette was not around, like this is exactly the colors that I would use on my eyes. Like especially like if I could find a coppery eyeshadow, just stop everything. That was the best. Oh yeah, and then I would just take the darkest shade and then just kind of blend that all underneath and get it to connect. And as you can see, I did kind of cover up some of the metallic, which we're gonna fix. But before then, one YouTuber taught me, who is not a makeup artist, but I learned this advice and I was like, that's the best thing I've ever heard. She would, again, take a fluffy brush. She would run it across her entire eyelid to really make sure everything's blended, which I don't know if that was great advice, but that's what I was doing. So then, since the metallic went away, my brush kind of dried out a little. And again, just somehow get the water on my brush. And then I would just go in with that shade again, and then I would just stamp it on. If you really wanted to make your shit stand out, you could get another color and take the same brush, of course, and then do this just in another area. So it's like a dual tone chrome. It has a little bit more dimension to it. I cannot get over this like C shape. I hope I was tanner back then than I am now, because I'm so embarrassed right now that I used to do that. Now that we have that, you're gonna find your most blinding inner corner highlight. Honestly, the most blinding inner corner that I can think of is just my Rare Beauty highlighter, which this didn't exist, but just pretend that it did. And I would just take it on my finger and just really, again, just really get in there. As white as I could get this, the better. Up on the brow bone. 2016, I was, you know, not following every trend because I have what I like to call caveman eyebrows. Like, I need to pluck my eyebrows every other day or else I will have a unibrow. So even though people were doing the blocky eyebrows, I don't really worry about it. I would just kind of take my finger and go like that. And I would really only fill them in for like a special occasion, to like a wedding. Then I would maybe do my brows. Switching over to the 2016 side, that's hopefully gonna look a little more hinged. This is my favorite palette, so even though you've seen a lot of high-end products these days, as you can see by how freaking dirty this is, the ColourPop Stone Cold Fox is my favorite palette, and this is destroyed, but I love it. So I follow like a similar eyeshadow, I want to say layout, still kind of putting the colors in the same areas, just I guess picking better colors and doing it a little bit better. First thing that I'll do is I will just pick a light brown or like a skin tone instead of just going in with something. I will literally put this all over my lid just to make everything blend out better, and then I'm gonna take a crease brush and go in with a slightly darker brown. And this is a palette that I just kind of see what my heart is feeling that day. So instead of doing like a crazy windshield wiper, I will take it and then drag the color in, and then gradually pick a slightly darker brown that I can use just to like deepen that up a little bit. Still do my dark brown smoky eyes, but this is a little bit better. I go in with the darkest color in the outer V and drag it down, and instead of going all the way in, just kind of go about halfway and then just kind of make sure everything's blended out on that outer V. Perfect. If I do want to go in with metallic, I don't even bother with a brush. I just straight up use my ring finger. And what am I feeling today? I feel like this one is my go-to, and I just take that right on my finger and I still will stamp it on, but just maybe like a half to 2/3. So it's not covering up the darker shade here, so I still have that smokiness, but I'm still getting a metallic. If I need a good corner highlight, I am using this. I still, to this day, love a good inner corner highlight. Now I'm just gonna take a brush though and kind of just focus it in. Maybe blend it on to where I had that metallic, but still kind of keep it a little contained. I don't usually do the brow bone for every day, but I might do like a little bit if I'm going out or it's like a special occasion or I'm just feeling it. So already noticeable difference in the eyeshadows. And now I will usually just brush out my eyebrows unless they're doing something weird or I have like a bald patch or I overplucked or shaved it off on accident. I might fill it in. Most days if I'm just going to work, I'm just going to brush them out. Next we have eyeliner, which was the most fun step in 2016. Just not early in the mornings. I just woke up. I'm drinking a really crappy, weak coffee. I'm dying because I was up until 3 a.m. the night before. The best thing to do in the morning is I would then take a black eyeliner and I would tightline. I remember doing this and having tears because my eyes were so tired and sensitive because I just woke up. My tear ducts were running as I was doing this, but I was like, I have to tightline. I have to. Really put it all in, and then there would be a moment where I would just like, felt like my eyeball was falling out. Do the same thing on the bottom, and I feel like even my tightline now, I don't go back and forth as much. My eyes are already watering. And of course, I'm doing a ring around the whole eye because this is 2016. Then of course, I'm doing a winged eyeliner every day, which I do like to do a winged eyeliner. I'm too lazy to do it before, I go to work at my corporate job every day. Back in the day, it was like, I need this. And I would do a pretty large wing too, or maybe not like super large, but definitely bigger than I do now. Basically, oh my God, this is so hard doing this on my phone. I would literally take my eye, drag it back, and hold it while I do this next part. I would just do the line directly on top of my eye, and then if I kind of messed up and like, oh no, it's big, now it's under my eye. This is very biblically correct to what was going on at like 7 a.m. If I kind of messed up, I would try and fix the line. And the thing that was very annoying for me was the line had to be perfectly straight, but I was also doing the line across my entire eye. And it not only had to be perfectly straight, but it also had to perfectly match the other side. It would get pretty big. I would just kind of keep messing up, and then it usually looked something like this when I got done. There we go, perfect. I'm gonna grab a tissue and try and fix this. Wow, that's not coming off. Okay. Oh my God, I totally forgot. I had a little pen from e.l.f. that had makeup remover on it. You could just use that to clean up the eyeliner. This is going so well. I feel like this is very accurate to whatever was happening because you would be running so late and then something with your eyeliner would get so messed up. That looks fine. I also didn't really know how to work with my slightly hooded eyes back in the day, so just, you really just doing my best. So then on this side, I'll show you how I do my eyeliner today. I might do a black, but usually most days I'm at least gonna start with the brown. So I'll still do a little tight lining. Then I'll just kind of hold it straight and then drag it back and forth on my lash line and then blend it out with my pinky a little bit. I still will do a bottom waterline, but I only bring it in about halfway. So when I actually do want to like look good and a little bit more put together. I still do a wing. I just feel like a wing is very flattering for my eye shape. Instead of bringing everything in, you can see I kind of started doing my eyeliner with that gel eyeliner. I line a little bit more because the thing that I was always trying to do is to get it to the thinnest point possible. So this is very scary. My eyeliner has a crack in it. I really should just buy a new one. To this day, I still use the NYX Epic Ink eyeliner. I just broke mine. But I'll still just take it and draw a wing, like a little baby wing. So the wing's still there. It's just not as like boom as this side. Also, if they get a little uneven or a little wonky, it's harder to see when the wing is small. Like I said, I would try and get this inner corner as tiny as I could get it. But if you tightline it and then just kind of have your wing going into that, it's a little softer. So back in 2016, I was just trying to have the most voluminous lashes that I could, but one that I do have open is just the Kylash. So I'm gonna go in with that. I feel like this wing almost has like a little bit of like a downwards angle to it when I go like that. Again, I didn't understand how my eye shape worked. I was just doing eyeshadow and stuff and being like, oh, why does it go away when I look up? I would coat it and then drag it down, just kind of put on as much mascara as possible and then wiggle it back up because I thought that is what would give me a false eyelash. Put a little on the bottom, not a lot. I was not really into the bottom lash mascara. It was mostly just on the top lashes. But nowadays, I'm a big fan of tubing mascaras. They're just a lot easier to take off. Again, I'll do something kind of similar, just kind of coat the whole lash. As it kind of dries down because it's forming tubes, I will take it and then go over, just give it a little extra length. I actually like bottom lash mascara. I like it when my bottom eyelashes are long, which in the past I thought that it made them look like a spider, but now I like it. If I was going out into this day, might throw on an eyelash. Luckily, I was stopping myself from putting on a strip lash before my 8 a.m. So I will be wearing those another time. For the lips, I do have some relics. I went to a college that was pretty close to the Mall of America and they used to have a NYX store back in the day. So I would drag my friends with me and make them go to the NYX store. This was late 2015, so I was wearing this all of 2016. But I told myself after my freshman year, if I got good grades, that I would go and buy this liquid lipstick. And I did. I remember at the time my sister was like, why are you spending $20 on a lipstick? And now I don't want to talk about what I spend on lip gloss. Those are sentimental things. This is pretty similar to what I would have worn, like look-wise, formula-wise. This is a lot better than a lot of the liquid lipsticks that I used to wear. As the day went on and they would just, you know, dry out, I'd just add a little bit more on top and then just hope for the best. And there are definitely days where my lips were real crusty by the end of it. So that side is done. On the more current day side, so I will switch it up. I might do a lip oil or a lip balm. I wear a lot of tinted lip balm. I was not really doing lip liner back then, so nowadays I will. Even if like the color doesn't show up, it just kind of keeps everything like there. I have been, I don't know. Actually, just to compare, I'm gonna go in with this. It's just a cool tone nude shade. As a final step, I'm going to set everything with setting spray to A, help everything melt together, and B, you know, to make my makeup last. So I'm gonna go like this, just keep it on this side. So that is how I did my makeup in 2016 versus 2026. This side had a dream and a vision, but this side figured out how to make that vision a reality, because sometimes I would look at this and I'd be like, something doesn't feel right on the inside. I just don't know what. And then I learned what a color season was and I figured it out. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you agree that this side looks better than this side. I still have powder floating around my room. If this is how much I've inhaled over the years, that would explain a lot. Best thing that I have nowadays that I did not have in 2016. You have to come be in the video. You have to. You have to be in the video. The people love you. She was alive in 2016. We didn't know each other yet. I love you. She doesn't like being picked up. Okay, fine. thank you so much for sticking around. Have a good rest of your day and hit that subscribe button. Thank you.
I said thank you.
I didn't really partake in a lot of the fun stuff because I was just dying as a college student. I was just in the dorms like trying not to get pink eye and fail all my classes, so that, good times. What are Tumblr's up to? I heard Tumblr's kind of bad now. I'm trying to think 2016 lingo and I don't remember anything. Oh, damn Daniel, that was a thing. Two bros sitting in a hot tub because they're not gay. Raven, what else was there? I didn't even have Vans. I was buying shoes from Walmart. College is rough. If anything from this video I've learned is, in retrospect, I think I blocked out a lot of my memories